On December 7th, 1941, an Imperial Japanese flotilla suddenly and deliberately attacked the U.S. fleet at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. This surprise attack is a date which lives in infamy and forever changed the history of the world. This is World War II and II. I'm John Curatola at the National World War II Museum in New Orleans. For much of the early 20th century, Japan sought to expand its growing empire. But as it aggressively expanded its domain in the Far East, Japan was met with growing outrage from the international community. In July 1941, President Franklin Roosevelt froze Japanese assets and embargoed materials to the nation, crippling its war-making capabilities. Japan secretly readied its southern operation, targeting Singapore, the Philippines, and Pearl Harbor to clear the way to seize resources in the Dutch East Indies and in other places in the Pacific. In November 1941, an Imperial Japanese strike force called Kido Butai included 6 aircraft carriers with more than 400 aircraft and sortied from Japan to Hawaii. Maintaining radio silence and avoiding the normal shipping channels, Kido Butai moved across the northern Pacific undetected. At 6 a.m. on December 7th, the carriers launched a mix of fighter aircraft, torpedo, and dive bombers more than 200 miles off the Hawaiian coast. As most Americans slowly awoke from their Sunday morning slumber, the American fleet was hit with 2 waves of separate attacks. At 7:55 a.m., the first Japanese wave focused on 9 moored battleships in Pearl Harbor. An hour later, a second wave attacked nearby airfields and other ships in the shallow harbor. Caught by surprise, the Japanese planes sunk 8 battleships, damaged a dozen other smaller vessels, and destroyed 188 aircraft. Over 2,400 Americans were killed in the attack. The physical damage from the raid was surpassed by the emotional toll on the American people. Calls for revenge were quick, and further talk about American neutrality was soon silenced. The day after the attack, Roosevelt asked Congress for a declaration of war against Japan. On December 11th, Nazi Germany declared war on the U.S. in support of their Axis counterpart. The United States was now fully engaged in a war that many had hoped to avoid.